Hello everybody. Thank you for watching this video and tuning in at this time. As promised, this is going to be the first of what I hope is a regular series of me doing tarot readings for the collective. So this video is for anybody who happens to be scrolling along and tuning in at this time. It is meant to be for my Revive family, our patients, our friends, our followers, and even our relatives who maybe are following this page. So there's no exclusion. This message is for anybody and everybody. For those of you who follow us and are a part of our Revive community and aren't into this type of work, maybe don't have a strong connection to tarot or Reiki or intuitive work, that is completely okay. I just want to say that now that, I'm a chiropractor who does intuitive work. So there's no need for you to feel pressured or like you have to be a part of this aspect of our practice. But for those of you who have curiosity, interest, or maybe even full-blown connection already to spirit in place, then, we're trying to cultivate more of a community and a welcoming to be brave and bold in that alignment of yourself. So I'm going to be doing these videos monthly, and the intention is always going to be a reading that is in the highest and best good of anybody who may be scrolling across. So they might feel a little general, but they really are meant to be kind of medicine for anybody and everybody. What's cool about doing the video today is that we do have the full moon in Aquarius tonight. This is also the Lionsgate portal, which I believe opened on the 26th and closes on the 10th or the 12th and is at its peak on 8/8. I will not pretend like I am an advanced astrologist by any means, because I'm not. It's more of a passing interest of mine, but what I can tell you as an intuitive and a sensitive person is that it definitely feels like a really potent time. Even in my own personal life, there's kind of been some epiphanies and things coming up to the surface, and a lot of people who are into astrology talk about full moons as being a great time to bring endings and resolution. And Lionsgate Portal is an opportunity for you to kind of tune into your own awakening, connect to your own intuition, see through systems and structures that are in place that are flawed, that aren't true, aren't in the highest timeline, the highest alignment. So it's kind of a really wonderful and magical time, I think, throughout this whole month to really be present in your own knowing and following your own guidance. So we're just going to jump on in here. Like I said, I'm going to be pulling some cards for the collective. It always takes me a minute to get the cards out, so bear with me, you guys. Maybe next video I'll do this part first so you don't all have to watch me and we can just dive in. Okay. All right, so first and foremost, I think this is so spot on. It's amazing. Surface, what's happening right now? What's kind of happening for all of us? What energy is moving through us? What are we maybe aware of? This is this surface level, and we have the Seven of Cups. So what we're talking about here is lots of ideas. This feels to me like something I've actually been speaking with a lot of you who have been coming into the office about, which is that there is so much information out there right now, whether it's true, whether it's opinions, whether it's beliefs, that none of that is really clear to us. We're kind of living in this reality of, well, this person said this and this person believes that, conspiracy theory, the government, this is what's happening with COVID. There's no certainty in any of our plans. I'm getting married in a couple months and we're sending out invitations wondering if we're even going to be able to have the 50 people we're invited attend the event. I mean, there's a lot of ideas, thoughts, and things just floating around, and there's almost no tangible evidence of what is really true. And that's kind of coming in the surface position. So we see this figure looking at these cups full of ideas, and he's kind of getting to choose which emotion, which belief, and which idea he's going to drink from, or to be inclusive, let's say they're going to drink from. So they have the opportunity to decide, which of these beliefs do I want to align with? And then we have following that justice. Justice is sitting in the deeper position. This is the position in the spread that I've done, which is what's really happening. So what's really happening for all of us right now is we're being faced with a plethora of information and beliefs. And remember, beliefs are not facts. So we're being faced with an inundation of ideas, and we're being asked to kind of stop, step back, sit with our own sword of truth and clarity, and bring balance into our lives by honoring what is true for us, what is real for us. For example, this whole time with COVID, since the beginning, people have been coming in and saying, this is going to happen. The National Guard's going to be in the street. They're going to shut us all down. And none of that really happened, not quite in that way. So again, when these worries and fears and stressors start arising, can you stop, sit back and say, what's true? What evidence do I really have? Can you bring a bit more balance into your life by being honest about what is actually present? Not all these things that maybe are invitations to be freaked out or invitations to take on too much. It's time really right now to honor what is your truth and what is true for you. I feel like that's just really powerful medicine for everybody, because I think we're all feeling a little confused. There's the false sense of security that we used to have, thinking we were really in control, has just been ultimately shattered. And, you know, newsflash, none of us are really in control. So we're kind of learning to be comfortable in that, and kind of learning to say like, oh, thank God I don't have to be in control anymore. And so can you lean into that a little bit, and can you lean into trusting what is actually happening in front of you, not the invitations that your brain and ego are giving you to be scared, fearful, contractive? Can you just be here and now with what is? And through this process, we're really learning, in the position of what we're learning, 10 of Wands, to unburden ourselves. This year, I know it's been really scary and painful for a lot of people, so I'm not trying to take away from that or belittle that, but it's also giving us an opportunity to unravel. I constantly refer to it as the year of the unraveling. We're being given opportunities to shed, to look around our life, the people in it, the things we engage in, even the things we tell ourselves that we have to do. Do you really need any of that? Do you really need to be the person in your family who always runs all the errands? Can you step back and say, this is too much for me. I need you to help with this. Do you really have to finish that paper by tonight? Is the deadline truly tonight? Or could it be next week? You know, what things in your life are you kind of carrying that are burdening you? And I look at it and visualize it. Like, I see it in my head completely. Like you're a fire, and you're just throwing logs and logs and logs and logs and logs on top of your fire, and you're choking your fire out. So in reality, can you drop some of these wands? Can you step back and assess what things maybe you're feeling responsible for, or you're taking on, that aren't really yours to carry? It might be emotional, it might be physical, it might be to-dos, tasks, or it simply might just be obligations you feel to others that aren't really true. So where in your life can you make a bit more space for yourself? Because that's really the medicine of this year. This sacred pause where the whole world came to a halt so that you could sit with yourself and honor and acknowledge a little bit more who you are, what you need, where you need healing. I mean, this is not to make it sound like it's all been light and fluffy, because it's not. Healing isn't a fun, carefree experience, or everybody would do it. So there's definitely tenderness and pain happening, and I'm not trying to belittle and say that there isn't, but I am asking, can you be brave and bold in all that tenderness and pain and make some more space for yourself? And what we're being asked to pay attention to follows up that message perfectly, because we have the Queen of Cups. So the Queen of Cups is the internal alignment of everything that is our emotional tending, our emotional boundaries. The Queen of Cups is the card that aligns with the zodiac sign Cancer. So there's a lot of Cancer medicine, and Cancer also aligns with the moon. So when we get Queen of Cups, we're talking about honoring that you too have cycles, that you aren't always going to feel big and bright. Sometimes you're going to feel lost. You're going to feel in the void. You're just going to feel like you don't have the energy to do it. And Queen of Cups comes along and says, can you honor that? That's sacred. Can you be with that? Can you honor your rhythms and your cycles? Can you retract into your shell and make boundaries around your own emotional needs and your own emotional well-being? And can you trust through doing so, you will show up to a more fulfilled and more radiant life than you had ever had before when you were weakening those boundaries and spreading yourself thin for others. So this is definitely that card of honoring that you too have cycles, that you won't always be go, excellent, achieving. You will be resting, quiet, still. Can you know better? Can you have a healthier relationship with that internal self that's dictating, guiding, and telling you when you should be stepping back more and going into that void and into that quietness that we all need? So just a lot about seeing things as they really are, choosing what emotions and beliefs you buy into, unburdening the things that are congesting you from feeling alive in life, because it is your birthright to be here, to feel alive, to have love. These things are something that every human being has the right to access. But we get a little caught up sometimes because we forget that we have the power and the right to dictate when we're available to others. And lastly, I pull what I have learned through a tarot reader that I did some training under named Lindsay Mack, who is an incredible person. I highly recommend you follow her page. It's Wild Soul Tarot, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And her and my very good friend Angela, who is at Strength Vibes Tarot, and I also highly recommend you follow her, got me really into this practice of what we call anchor cards. So I'm not sure how they maybe look at it, but I kind of look at it as something that maybe spirit wants us to lean into, or I look at it as something that stands out as maybe just a deeper medicine, or something that's supporting you and nurturing you and saying, like, this is why we're doing this work. And what we've got for those cards, which I meant to pull one, but 3 came out, so we're going to go with it. I have the 6 of Swords and I have the 8 of Cups. So right away we have the pairing of 2 cards that visually have this symbolism of moving on. And I think it really, really is coming through to me, like this month in particular is going to bring a lot of opportunities for you to have clear boundaries and clear understanding about what you need to let go of. And this is going to be coming in a mental way. What thoughts, what ideas, what beliefs does your ego stir up that maybe it's time to say no, thank you? And how can you caretake yourself? How can you tend to that? How can you find maybe somebody you have an intimate trust with that you can communicate, like, hey, I'm going through these really ugly thoughts about myself, and they maybe can make space for you to look at them in a way that's healthy. This could be a therapist. Or is it just simply that you're able to kind of say, wow, I've really for the last 3 days been thinking I'm not good enough to do this, and now I'm realizing that is really just my brain asking me to not change because change is scary. So there's an element with that 6 of Swords that's really about, can you move on from thoughts and mental patterns that are no longer serving you? And it's followed right behind the 8 of Cups coming up and saying, can you move on from what doesn't emotionally serve you? So what things in your life, again, maybe they're relationships, maybe it's a job, maybe it's practices that you have that you've drank all you can from that cup. These things, it's time to let them go. You're not a bad person. It's not egoic. It's not cruel to say, I love myself and it's time to liberate and move out of these patterns, these thoughts, and these relationships that maybe are not meant to move with me anymore. All paths are not meant to remain parallel. They weave, they intersect. Sometimes when we're lucky, we do get these relationships that run the course of our life, but it's okay. You don't owe anything to anybody, and you are allowed, if you need to hear that, you have permission to say, I love you and thank you, but it's time for something else. And in that process, in this unraveling, can you look around you at what brings you joy? The 10 of Cups is all about joy and available joy. And I used to kind of say to people, like, magic, real magic, is the birds in the park. It's the time you're thinking about your grandma and her favorite song comes on the radio, or it's the time you're maybe feeling really distraught and a butterfly lands on your hand. I mean, it may sound cheesy and like, you know, full disclosure, I'm definitely the type of person that like gets emotional when I see a dog, or, you know, I'm just a sensitive person in that way, but that's magic. That's the real magic. Needing someone to be there for you and a stranger comes up to you and says, wow, you look really beautiful today. I mean, that's magic. And can you look at those moments and find joy in them? Because life is all these little moments. There's not going to be one major event that makes you go, aha, I'm happy now. It's going to be the little things every day that remind you that you're fulfilled, you're whole, and you're alive. So where in your life right now, as you're watching this video, can you look around your room? Can you look around the park, wherever you're at, and find something that makes you feel joyful? Because that's really the magic. That's the power. When you're able to do that in every moment and every day, you're free. So that's that. That's the message that came through for you all today. For the rest of the month of August, I am doing $10 off readings. I am doing readings with the tarot as well as with the Reiki. So you can have the option of having the cards, or you can just have the option of any information that's channeled through for you. We're doing them on Thursdays in the office, but I also offer these readings via Zoom. So if you're not local and you like my style and you like my energy and you like the way that I'm communicating, you can connect with me through Zoom, through distance Reiki. You don't have to be local to Chicago. So if any of this interests you, shoot me a DM, or you can email the office. It's my first and last name, Callista Lay, dc@gmail.com, or we can be reached at 312-491-8100. Thank you all so much for your time and your energy and your respect and love, and I hope you feel some of that back from me. Thank you. Bye.